I love the fact that the Honda comes with a dash that gives you miles per hour and has really good trip meter, and it'll even tell you how many miles per gallon you're getting, so you know when you're going to run out of gas. But what it doesn't have, and what I don't understand, is why doesn't it have a tachometer? Today we're going to remedy that situation with the 12oClock Labs mini gauge. Here's everything that comes with it if you get the Vortex version. Let's walk over here out of the sun. All right, so my bike has a Tokyo Mods Vortex ECU in it. The regular 12oClock mini gauge doesn't hook up to it. There's a couple differences. So if you want to get the mini gauge for your bike, you have to pay almost another $100, which is stupid money. 12oClock Labs, $250 for a mini gauge so I can tell what my RPMs are, is stupid money. Obviously I'm stupid because I paid it. And then as far as mounting goes, it is just got those two holes, right? So that you can, I guess, zip tie it to your handlebars. Anyways, basically you have to come up with your own mounting solution. Most people mount it somewhere down in here. I can get it in there. Mount it somewhere down in here, or it can go right here. Or I could put it on the tower somewhere, maybe sticking up out here, right? I've got all this real estate. I haven't quite decided where it's going to go yet. I'll figure that out. But the first thing I have to do is grab the destructions and figure out how to wire this thing into my Vortex ECU. And in order to do any of that sort of thing, I need to start pulling the bike apart. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll come back when I figure out how to plug this thing in, and we'll go from there, okay? All right, I am not the grammar police, I promise, but can you read that? There is a button you press on the connector to release its lock. I mean, come on, people, English. Step one, once you get the seat off, is to unplug your Vortex ECU, which I will attempt to do on camera. And if it doesn't work, then I won't. I had to remove my shroud. I couldn't quite get behind it, but the idea is you're going to get a screwdriver in here. The tab that you have to push, this guy is like right there. I can touch it, but I can't push on it. So let me get a screwdriver quick. So if I push here, that should open up the tab for my ECU connector to come off, in theory. And a third hand would be really cool right about now. There it goes, okay. So that comes off. So this, right, now plugs into here. And this end now plugs into here with a click. And then the next trick is to get all this stuff with this extra black box tucked up inside of here. All right, step one. Next, the headlight cover comes off and unplug the headlight. So here's the headlight connector. And then you have this adapter. And I don't mean to make this a how-to video, I really don't. But basically, there's a couple connections in here where the adapter goes between. So this one and then the 2-wire connector. And the 2-wire connector here. All right, that's the headlight. That's done, and then one more long-ass cable to run from the back. Last little bit is to put this cable on. So you're going to come back under the seat, pull this up, pry this off. There's a little button under this side, and then this cable, right, gets plugged in here and then routed up to the front of the bike underneath the bodywork. So I'll do that next. All right, we've got our mini gauge on. I'm going to turn it on, make sure everything looks okay. There we go. So right now we're set for RPMs, air temperature, engine Celsius, battery, etc. So to change all that stuff, if you remember, you got this little magnet was in your bag. That's a magnet. I don't know if you can see it stick to stuff. So you hold that up here and it brings up your options, right? So view mode, and what it'll do is as soon as it detects it, it'll run through all those stuff. So we'll go through view mode. Now to select it, you just pull the magnet away. Right now it says it's waiting for magnet. I'm going to put it back on. If I wanted to see the speed and the RPM times 1200, I would select that. The speed will show up here when we're running. What I want to do is I want to get it off Celsius. And give me a second to figure out where that is. Waiting for magnet, backlight screen, oops. Oh shit, I'm not sure what I pushed. I'm gonna put that back to 0, whatever, whatever I just did there. Okay, so right now we're in Celsius, and air is Celsius. I want to change this to Fahrenheit, because we're Americans, and we can't go along with what the rest of the world does, even if it does make sense. Okay, so gauge settings, and then I'm going to put the magnet back on. I'm going to go down to unit CF and let go, and it's going to wait, and then see how it just switches back between Celsius and Fahrenheit. So if I wait till it's on Fahrenheit and pull the magnet away, it will select that. That's how this works. There we go. Now we're 98 degrees, 140 degrees. Okay, so step one is we're going to get it so it shows us our speed. So view mode, wait for magnet. And I want to see, oh, come on. So this thing can be a little finicky, so view mode, I'm going to let it run through everything. And what we want to see is our speed. So as you see, it's temperature, RPM, speed in RPM, which is what we want, and then the dialogue, which you don't want. And this is going to be like your main view. Okay, here we go. So we start the bike up. Here's our speed. So we're going to want to see that, and I'll show you why in a second. So to set up your speedometer and your gear position indicator, the first step is to calibrate the built-in GPS, the built-in speedometer. And what you're going to do is you're going to either go to the instructions and simply plug in this number. 10.581 is a divider for miles per hour. If you're using kilometers per hour, then it's this number. You can use those. I found that super accurate. My front tire is a little bigger than stock, but it still worked just fine. If you want it exact, you're going to go out, you're going to ride the bike. It's going to give you your speed here when the bike's running. You're going to compare your speed here to a GPS, and then when you've got those two numbers, and on mine this number started out as like 580 something, okay? My speedometer started out as 580 some odd miles an hour. So obviously you need to divide that by a number. And it's going to be probably 10 something something. If you go on their website, they'll actually tell you how to calculate this number. Okay, so we're going to go for a quick ride. I'm just going to show you what that looks like. And then the idea is you're going to write those two numbers down. What does it say here versus what does it say on your speedometer or on a GPS if you don't think your speedometer is correct. So I want you to take notice how I'm doing 25, it says I'm doing 270, right? That's the 10 factor. Again, they ask you to get up to 55 miles an hour and record what both your GPS and the mini gauge says. And that's going to give your calculation. That's annoying. Okay, you go, you do your calculation, and you come up with a number, and it's probably, honestly, it's going to be really close to this number, 10.581 for miles per hour. That's what mine was. Mine was actually 10.5, but whatever, close enough. So we're going to calibrate our speed. So we're going to put the magnet up there. Get it in the right spot, and we're going to go to speed settings. We're going to go to speed calibrate, and then we're going to change to divider, and now you see we're on new value. If you aren't precise on this, it's really easy to go past the number you want. So the first number I want is 0, because I want that to be 010.581. You ready? So the first one's going to be a 0. The second one's going to be a 1. The third one's going to be a 0. You get this, right? 5. The next one is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 8. And then the last one should be a 1, give or take. This is super accurate. So, right, if you wanted to use the odometer on this for super precise navigation, this would be the way to do it. Now, the next thing to do is, if you think you're right, if you think that's okay, would be to go give this another ride. All right, and then compare the two and see how far off you are, if you're right on the money or not. I already did mine. It's super close. It's way close enough for what I'm doing. Okay, so we did that. That's part one of setting your gear position indicator. Here's the next part, and it's easy and it's a pain in the ass all at the same time. So first we're going to enable the GPI feature, and then we're going to teach it what gear we're in. So back to your magnet. You see GPI is there. We're going to enable it. Yes. And it should come up and say it's going to, there it goes. So GPI learning ready. I'm just going to check. In here's where you set your GPI settings. Tell it how many gears your bike has. It should already know it has 6, but just in case, we'll go down to gears. Current value is 0. There we go. I'm glad I checked that. New value is 6. There we go. I'm surprised it didn't already know I had 6 gears, but it didn't. Okay, now we're ready to learn. So, learning on this is semi-automatic, and here we go. Okay, so you're going to go out and find a stretch of road where you can kind of putz around a little bit. And every time you stop and it reads 0, your speed is 0, it resets. At the end, when this is done, it'll tell you it's ready to save. So if something goes hinky or you have to pull over before it learns all 6 gears, don't worry about it. All you have to do is stop, let the speed fall to 0, and it'll start over again. Okay? So learning ready. And we've got it in first gear, and I'm going to pull out now. The idea is just go kind of a normal first gear, right? Speed, learning first gear. All right, I'm super sorry about the audio on this part, but basically what you're going to do is you're going to set it in learning mode. You're going to put it in first gear, pull out. It'll say learning first gear, and you just hold your speed steady until it tells you to shift up to the next gear. Shift up in a second, it says learning second, you hold your speed steady, and then it'll say learning third. Upshift to the next gear, learning third, etc. So it just goes that way all the way up until you get to 6th gear. Now, once it learns all your gears, it's going to switch to this, and it'll give you your gears, and it'll also give you your miles per hour, because that's what we had it set at. And you can see as I go along here, I'm going to upshift and downshift a little bit just to make sure they're all there. But the trick is on this part, in order for it to work well, is that you have to set your speedometer accurately. Once you do that, this process is actually pretty easy. Turn this off for a second. Now, I already have a speedometer, so I don't want to see my speedometer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the view, and I'm going to get rid of the speedometer. So, oh, and I missed it already. If you miss it, just go around, or if you shut it off, it'll stop it where it is. So I'm going to go to view mode. I'm going to go down to RPM. So that's all I want to see, because again, I have a speedometer. I don't need to see my speed here, so I want to see my RPMs right here. Right? I like the air, the engine temperature for sure, the battery. Set this however you want to. So now it's going to show my RPMs digitally. Right? I've got the graph at the top, and I've got a little number down here. And gear, let's see what the gear, it takes a second to figure out what's going on. There we go, first gear, second gear, third, I don't know if you can hear me changing gears, but it's pretty quick. It figures out pretty fast what gear you're in. Right? So there's third, fourth, fifth, sixth, fifth. It works pretty phenomenally. Alright, well there you go. That's the mini gauge. There's more stuff to it. You can change like how dim or bright the screen is. You can change that display to add whatever you want. Like the main display could be your temperature if that's what you're worried about. Super customizable. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching.